All right, everybody, we are going live to talk about autism. If you are an autism parent, or if you suspect that your child may be autistic, or if you think you may be autistic, this is the place for you to be. We go live for a couple of hours every single day. We're just barely getting started today. And so feel free to start putting the questions in the chat. We do end up getting a lot of people in here. And so we're just barely getting started right now. Let me go ahead and finish getting everything set up here, and then we will jump right in. All right, you guys. Guys, welcome to the live stream today. We're just getting started. Destiny, hello. It's good to see you, Destiny. Good to see all of you coming in here. Be tapping on that screen. Let's get the likes started here. We do the autism news of the day as soon as we get to 20,000 likes. Once we get more people in here, that's a little bit more doable to do. Are there people who never got vaccinated and have autism? Vanessa, that is such a good question. Yes, in fact, there has been so many research studies done on this, and it shows that people who are vaccinated or unvaccinated get autism at the same rate. And so there is zero correlation between vaccinations and autism that has been identified in research. So, oh, Eloise, I'm so sorry. What's going on, Eloise? You've been struggling a lot. What's going on? What's going on? My nephew is 7 years old and he will only eat the same 5 things. How do I incorporate more food? Guys, that is a good question. If you are an autism parent, first of all, I want to say, Brooklyn, you are an aunt asking about your nephew, and that is incredible. The first step of this autism journey is making sure that you have a village, and you, Brooklyn, are part of your nephew's village. Thank you for doing that. I want you to know that the rigid eating is very common with autism. That is not something that should be extremely alarming, and 5 things is actually a lot more than some kids with autism actually are able to do. So the big recommendation, Brooklyn, is number 1, give them their safe foods. Those 5 foods are their safe food, okay? Make sure they have access to their safe food, and then progress slowly from there. And there are occupational therapists and speech therapists that specialize in feeding therapy. All right, you guys. Are some people with autism incapable of a relationship? I don't want to say incapable. I don't like putting limits on people. We do know that a big part of autism can impact people's ability to have a relationship. That is a very real thing, but it doesn't mean that they can't. It means some people with autism need support to be able to build and maintain strong relationships. Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody in here. We are just barely getting started. I just barely went live. I kind of like to get to know who's in here. Can you guys let me know where you're from in the chat? I'd love to hear. Where are you from? Where are you guys at? Are you from, what state are you from in the United States, or what country are you from? Oh, I just joined and do not know if you talked about L179 medicine. Okay, I haven't talked about this yet. It's exciting. There's exciting stuff. It is very, very early. This is like even earlier than leucovorin's stuff. But there is a medication coming out there, L179, that's looking promising. Oh, Cayman Islands, Angie, that's pretty cool. Thank y'all for being here. New York, Zimbabwe. Wow, you guys. We got people from all over the place. Where are y'all from? Los Angeles, you're an ABA provider, Bruin. Okay, wonderful. I love having ABA providers in here. Virginia, Netherlands, Puerto Rico. All right, let me give you a little bit of an introduction to myself while you're all introducing yourselves. I live in Utah. I have 2 children diagnosed with autism, and I'm also a board-certified behavior analyst. I've been working with people with autism since 2013, long before my own children were diagnosed with autism. My child that was diagnosed first was diagnosed a year and a half ago. And by that point, I had already had a master's degree in autism studies, become a board-certified behavior analyst, and become a CEO of the company that I currently am at right now, where we provide autism services throughout the state of Utah. So I go live every single day, you guys. Every single day for an hour and a half to 2 hours, where we just talk about autism, where I hear your questions, where we talk together, we laugh together, we cry together. And that's what we do. So if this says follow right here, make sure you're following. Then I'm going to ask a favor of you guys. If you guys could do the heart me's, that really does help. It helps build up this village that we are creating, and it also sends it out to more people. It's good for the algorithms. Okay, let's keep on going with these questions. And by the way, if I'm missing a lot of questions coming through here, and so if I do happen to miss a question that you put out, Bunny, thank you for the hand heart. Oh my gosh, that means the world to me. It really does. If I miss your question, you can always hop over to the YT platform. I can't say the name of it, but I get not very many viewers over there, and so the chat goes pretty slow, and I can read a lot more of them from over there. Okay, a question here. Is autism genetic? Okay, you guys, this is a good question. Is autism genetic? Yes, and I actually learned something about the genetics of autism, and I'm going to share it. It's a research article that just came out. I'm going to share it in the autism news of the day. Once we hit 20,000 likes, so be tapping on that screen, I go through the autism news of the day. And so it is absolutely genetic. Tylenol equals autism? No, it does not. Tylenol is not correlated with autism. There is okay, let me break this down for y'all. Autism is genetic, about 80 to 90% genetic. What does that mean? Well, that means that most of the time it's due to the genes that you have or gene mutations. It's considered polygenic, meaning how a variety of genes play into the development of the brain. And there are some environmental factors of things that happen during pregnancy that can impact autism, but Tylenol is not one of those. What is your medical background? Okay, I came in and introduced myself a little bit, Bill, but I'll do it again very, very briefly. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical background. I have an autism background. I got 2 kids with autism. I have a master's degree in autism studies. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst working with people with autism since 2013, and I'm the CEO of a company that serves people with autism throughout the state of Utah. We are opening our 4th clinic to continue to support people. And so that's a little bit about my background. I'll let you know when I don't know something for sure. I do every single live that you pay attention to. I will tell you, I don't know something. There's a lot I don't know, and I'm still learning. What are the things you mentioned during pregnancy? Okay, let me break this down because a lot of the language that goes around puts the blame on parents, especially mothers. And I want you to know these things that I'm about to say, the mother has little to no control over. And in fact, one of the leading correlations, environmental factors, can be parental age, specifically the father's age. So if the father is over the age of 40, there's an increased chance that the child will be diagnosed with autism. But there's other things during pregnancy. Infection. Certain infections can increase the likelihood of autism. Exposure to pollutants, certain pollutants like automobile pollution, pesticides, and wildfire smoke have been correlated with increased likelihood of autism. We have premature birth can be associated with autism. Now, keep in mind, all of these environmental factors end as soon as a baby's born. We haven't yet to identify a single environmental factor that has any reasonable belief to impact the development of autism post like birth, after the first day the child's born. So it's prenatal/perinatal environmental factors. It is genetic, largely genetic, 80 to 90% genetic. We're at almost 10,000 likes, you guys. As soon as we get to 20,000, we do go through the autism news of the day. Okay. Can it skip a generation? That's a good question. So when we say it's genetic, that does not mean that you or your spouse has autism, because that's just not how genetics work. It can. I mean, if you're autistic, you have about a 1 in 5 chance that your child will be diagnosed with autism. So it doesn't mean, and it also means that, there's a lot of kids diagnosed with autism that their parents aren't autistic, but the way that genes play out factor into this. And so you may carry a gene that is correlated with autism, but that doesn't mean that it played out with you the same way it's playing out with your child. Bees says lack of oxygen soon after birth. Can it not cause? Yeah. So, yes, that is actually correlated with autism, can be the lack of oxygen at birth. And so we don't have any other data as far as after a child is born, like that day, that factors into this. But yeah, premature birth, lack of oxygen during birth. Does folinic acid help nonverbal toddlers? That's a controversial one, and it shouldn't be. There is some mixed evidence on this, and there is the evidence is not yet clear to recommend folinic acid or leucovorin widespread for people with autism, or to even do the FRAT test, which a lot of people are recommending. There have been 5 clinical trials about leucovorin and the effects of children with autism with mixed results, but some promising results. The largest study, however, was recently retracted due to errors in their data. And so I think within the next year, we'll see a lot more data with it. But no pediatric body yet is recommending leucovorin by default for a child with autism. There's also some negative impacts that could happen from leucovorin. So be cautious. It's not time yet. With my 2 children diagnosed with autism, we don't use leucovorin. All right, you guys, I'm curious. Who here is new? Do we have any new folks here that this is your first time seeing me? Did I come across your For You page today? If so, put FYP. If I came across your For You page today, put FYP in the chat. Who do we got here that's new? Oh, we got some new people in here. Welcome in, you guys. It is so good to see you. I see you all. Wonderful. Thank you all for being here. I go live every day. We talk about autism. We talk about being a parent of children with autism, being autistic. We talk about the good things, the hard things, the challenges, the realities. And so if you're here even just to learn, because you just want to be educated, you're a professional, you're in the right place. Okay, Fionka says, what does a RADS test score actually tell you? Okay, so a lot of people are wondering, am I autistic, right? Like maybe your child was just diagnosed and you're wondering, are you actually autistic as well? You know, it's genetic, and a lot of adults are missed. And so, what I recommend is that you initially take a screener. One of the screeners that you can take that is validated in the research is called the RADS, RAADS, and is for adults wondering if they are autistic. The full version has 80 questions. The condensed version is the RADS 14. And it can tell you what screeners tell you is, should you go and talk to a psychologist? Should you go and follow up and be evaluated for autism? It cannot diagnose you with autism. So on the RADS 14, it's linked to my bio. It's free, just educational there. Any score over 14 out of 42, there's only 14 questions, but it's kind of graded a little wonky. But a score over 14 is clinically significant that you should go and consider follow-up with a diagnostician, usually a psychologist. All right, you guys. Why are some nonverbal? So autism is a spectrum. And so we have a lot of children and adults diagnosed with autism who are nonverbal. And it's just what autism is, that it impacts the ability to, it can impact communication. There's 2 domains that autism typically impacts: social and what is it called? And sensory. And so social includes communication. A lot of people with autism, they struggle to communicate. They may find it easier to use an AAC device like an iPad to communicate. They may find that it's easier to sign or use a picture exchange system. But uh, but yeah, that's a common trend with autism that we see that we can support, guys. Okay. Okay, Lex says, can you explain the difference between genetic and hereditary and how it correlates with autism? So a lot of times when people say hereditary, it implies that they got it from the parent, that the parent is also autistic. And so I like to say it's genetic, not necessarily hereditary in the sense that that the parents have to be autistic for a child to also be autistic. But it's genetic and it's polygenic, meaning multiple genes factor into this. We know that it's 80 to 90% genetic. There are some really good studies I can get into at some point that goes through how we know it's genetic. And I can explain it in a way that anyone can understand. All right. Can you explain about the spectrum, please? Angie, yes. Okay, so autism is a spectrum. The autism diagnosis, as we know it today, came around in 2013. And so before then, autism, instead of a full-on spectrum, it was mostly isolated to the most severe, profound cases of autism before 2013. Now, autism has expanded. It now includes what used to be called Asperger's. And so the net of autism has greatly expanded. Now we refer to the autism spectrum by levels in the United States. There's 3 levels. Level 1 refers to low support needs. Level 3 means high support needs. And so if you're talking about the folks that have a hard time communicating and maybe they have no reliable way of communication, typically that's level 3. If you have someone that used to be diagnosed with Asperger's, that's level 1. Okay, we do have a comment over here on the YT platform. Again, if I'm not getting to your question and you really want me to get to it, you can hop on over to the YT platform linked in my bio and look at the live stream there. And I do read those more. Which level is your child? Okay, so I have 2 children diagnosed with autism. My 3.5-year-old is diagnosed level 2. And my almost 2-year-old is diagnosed level 2 as well. But they do look very differently, you guys. Right now, my child, my 3.5-year-old, has some words that he can say. He can say things like water or sauce. That means applesauce, like those veggie pouches. So there's a few things that he can say, but he's not conversational. A lot of people would consider him nonverbal. When people in the community try to talk to him, it is very much he doesn't respond. Guys, he's at that age where that kind of hurts. Have you guys felt that? If you have a child diagnosed with autism, it hurts when you're at the store and people approach your child and say, "Oh, hello, do you want a sticker?" And he just stares off. I mean, he's big enough that he looks like he should be talking and responding, and he doesn't. And that can be hard. All right, you guys, we have hit the 20,000 likes. Guys, this is amazing. It might be a record. We're 18 minutes in and hit the 20,000, so that is great. Kismet. I'm going to go through the autism news here, but there is another comment on the YT platform. Are there any representations of autism in media that you know of or consider accurate? Oh my goodness. Let me tell you my favorite representation of autism in the media. And this isn't going to be what you think. But I've talked about this before. My favorite representation of autism comes from Float. Have you guys seen Float? Put yes in the question if you have seen Float. It's on Disney. It's a short film. It's like 10 minutes. Put yes in the chat if you have seen Float. And I love this, not because it's what autism actually looks like. I love it because it puts autism, makes you think of it in more metaphorically, which helps you understand it better. To where instead of like going and flapping his hands, he floats. And so he's this kid that is floating around and the parents are embarrassed by him and making him come back to the ground. And, it gets so bad and embarrassing that the father has a breaking point and shouts, "Why can't you just be normal?" And every time that happens, I just break, tears stream down, and it hits me. It hits me hard. It's on Disney Plus, you guys. Go check it out. It's beautiful. All right, the autism news of the day, you guys. So the news for today is there is some new research coming out on the genetics of autism and why autism is found more in men or in boys than it is in girls. Did you know that boys are about 3 times as likely to be diagnosed with autism as girls? And there's a lot of theories behind this. I've talked a lot about this. And I want to share this research, but I also want to start this by saying there's a lot of reasons why girls are missed being diagnosed. We know that girls are more likely to mask their autism earlier. We know that societal pressures on girls are greater than the societal pressures on boys, which can lead to masking at a younger age. And so it is very common for autism to be missed in girls, and then later in life, or even adults. We have a lot of adult women who are diagnosed later. If that describes you in the chat as an autistic woman, put me in the chat. If you were missed as a child but have since gone or suspect that you're diagnosed with autism, put me in the chat. I think you'll be surprised by how many people that actually impacts. Look at that, you guys. Okay, so we do know that that autism is missed in girls, and I don't want this study to undermine that truth, because that is very true, that it is missed. The diagnostic criteria was based around boys, not about girls. There's a lot here that I could talk about. But there is some studies that suggest that, okay, so boys, it's about 1 in 20 boys are diagnosed with autism, and then about 1 in 70 to 1 in 100 girls. That is wild, you guys. That's a significant difference. And one of the theories, on top of the societal pressures and masking and girls being missed, is that they believe that it is specifically tied to the X chromosome, that they're finding more and more some evidence that that there's a female protective effect of the X chromosome, proposes that higher expression of certain regulatory genes from XI allows girls to better buffer the effects of autism-associated mutations. That's a lot of words to say. They are finding some evidence that there may be differences between boys and girls biologically that may impact whether autism exists. Now, this is brand new info, brand new data, and there's still a lot of research to come out. This is not something finalized that we can go off and say, oh, it's because of genetic differences. These are theories that are currently being researched with some promising evidence. The big takeaway I want you to have is still that girls are missed. Girls are missed being diagnosed. And a lot of that is because of girls tend to mask younger, and there's more societal pressures to mask on girls than on boys. A lot of people hear boys will be boys, right? Boys will be boys. Have you heard that? And that carries over into autism. We see that a lot. But girls, no, they can't act like that. Higher pressures are put on them to mask at a younger age. All right, you guys. People ask if I bring people up today. Yes, I will be bringing people up. I have found that a lot of the I like the first half of this to be me answering questions directly from the chat. And so if you really want me to answer, you can put it over in the YT platform as well, where the chat is much slower. But then the second half, I do tend to bring people up and have more real conversations with people. Let me give a little bit of an introduction. I like to do this every 15, 20 minutes or so. My name is Kylan. I live in Utah. I'm an autism dad. I have 2 autistic kids who are beautiful, who mean the world to me. And I'm a board certified behavior analyst. Long before my child was diagnosed with autism, I got a master's degree in autism studies. I became a board certified behavior analyst doing ABA therapy. And as of 2.5 years ago, I am the CEO of a company in Utah that serves people with autism. All that happened before my own child was diagnosed. And now that my own child, I was always passionate about autism. But now that I've experienced it from the parent perspective, I am the fiercest advocate for autism, for neuroaffirming care, for the rights of our children, and for access to services that you will ever see. The YT platform is linked in my bio if you want to hop over there. Okay, you guys. So I do go live on a daily basis. Make sure that you're hitting that follow so that you can see when I do go live. Let's go ahead and ask some questions. Do you have any info on potty training? My son's level 2 with language disorder. Mad Max. Let's talk about potty training. While we do this, I'm curious, who do we have in the chat here? Put 1 in the chat if you're an autism parent. Put 2 in the chat if you are autistic or suspected. Put 3 in the chat if you're just here to learn or if you're a professional. 1, 2, or 3. All are welcome, you guys. All are welcome, but I do like to get a sense of who we got in here so I can base what we talk about today on that. And I see a good mix of all, probably the most of 1s, but a lot of 2s as well, and some that are all of them, 1, 2, and 3. Wonderful. Okay, we do have a comment. Can anyone recommend a communication app for Android? There's a lot of free ones out there. The highest quality are the ones that are paid. Unfortunately, my recommendation is go through a speech therapist and try to get insurance to pay for it. A lot of times insurance will pay for the setup between the cost of like an iPad and the cost of the app to get the real one. I know I didn't skip potty training. I just touched on it and then I wanted the intro here. We are going to go through the potty training stuff, you guys. We have a lot of people that put 1. Of those that put 1 in the chat, if you have an autistic child, put yes in the chat if they're potty trained, and then also put at what age were they potty trained. Put no in the chat if they're not potty trained, and how old is your child. So yes and their age when they were potty trained, or no and their current age. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of this. A lot of yeses, a lot of nos. I first want to tell you guys, if you put no in the chat, I don't care how old your child is. You're okay. You're doing enough. Ignore the pressures from society telling you that your value as a parent comes from how young your child is when they learn to go in the potty. Okay? It doesn't matter. Every child is different. Every child's support needs are different. And you are doing okay. You are doing great. You are doing better than you know. So do not jump onto potty training simply to increase the value that others perceive you as the parent or your child as a person. Bunny, thank you for the heart me or the hand hearts. I appreciate that. However, I want you to know that potty training is a very real possibility. There was a video I saw yesterday that really made me upset. And maybe you saw my response to it. I was rude, you guys. I've questioned if I should take that video down. Let me know what you think. I was rude in that video. I called her a weirdo. And I don't call people names usually. I feel bad. Let me know if you think I should take down the video. I felt bad, but she made me upset a little bit. She posted a video. She's a speech therapist. She posted a video of her at Walmart saying, I just saw a mom buying pull-ups for a 9 or 10-year-old. And then she proceeds to explain how she observed this interaction and how kids that age shouldn't be in pull-ups, and that as a SLP, she recommends that they go and get tested for sleep apnea. And I want to say that, like, people are saying, no, don't take it down. Okay. Yeah, she's a speech therapist, a speech language pathologist, and her whole point, I mean, it's a good point. If you have a neurotypical child who is still having bedwetting at night, I mean, that child wants to work on it too. And there is evidence to suggest that sleep apnea is correlated with bedwetting. However, what she did is totally inappropriate to go into Walmart, observe a child that she has no idea what they're going through, and then to recommend a specific therapy for them based on no knowledge that she has. That's a weird thing to do. If you're going into Walmart paying attention to people buying pull-ups, that's weird, right? That's weird. So how do we address potty training? First of all, my answer was do not stress this. If your 10-year-old is not potty trained, you're doing okay. It is okay. You're doing enough. But if you are ready to do this, then let's buckle up and let's do it. Let's get your kid potty trained. Here's what I want you to do. If you are ready to do this, it's a team effort. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a plan written down on paper. Oh, thank you, Mama Boys. I want you to, she deleted the video, by the way, but then she posted 2 other videos supporting her original video. And I was ready to drop it. But she doubled down and made another video while deleting the original, making all of us look like the crazy ones. So tell me in the chat, I have the whole video screen recorded. Do I do another stitch and let everyone see the full video? Let me know. Let me know if I do. I don't know if I should. I have mixed feelings on it. But I was ready to drop it. All she had to do was like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be pointing this out. But, okay. Okay. Let me share a little bit of this potty training though. Okay. What you're going to want to do is you write down the plan, and I'm going to encourage you to get supports. Okay. I love speech therapists. I love occupational therapists. I love ABA. And whatever professionals you have around you right now, ask for their help in creating a custom plan for your child. Okay. Usually what that plan includes is, 1, it includes unlimited access to preferred beverages. I know that sounds crazy, but if your child loves soda, if your child is like mine and loves A&W, well, you go and buy a few cases of A&W. If they love milk, you give them unlimited access to milk, as long as they're not allergic to their preferred thing or there's not medical problems. Why? Well, because we want to increase the amount of opportunities to void in the toilet. And so we want them to have as many chances as possible, and drinking as many fluids helps with that. Okay, number 2, we are going to drop wearing diapers and go straight to underwear during the day immediately. There is no exceptions. We are going full on underwear. They're going to have accidents. So for the first couple days, it's okay to have no other clothes on. Just have them keep your house a little warmer and let them just hang out in their underwear. And then number 3, it usually includes a sitting schedule where every 15 minutes you start, they sit on the toilet for 1 or 2 minutes. And another part of this, number 4, is you make the potty the fun place to be. Okay, you are going to put a something that I do usually is make it so that their screens, their iPads, are only allowed in the bathroom during those couple of days. And so if they want to go watch, they got to go sit on the toilet. And so if they want to sit longer than the 1 or 2 minutes, they can. That's the minimum. But we want them to have a lot of chances to use the potty there. All right, you guys, let's go ahead. Oh, Gia says how to deal with smearing poop. Fecal smearing, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna give too much information here. My child struggles with this. My child definitely smears feces. Usually it's, digging into his pants. And what we've had to do is change out all of his clothes for onesies. And so all of his shirts, it just looks like he has a tucked in shirt, but all of his shirts are onesies. And so he can't get into his pants. And so we put the onesies on and pants over the top, and it has resolved it 99%. Okay. Oh, we got some more comments over here on over on the YT platform. How do I assist my high functioning level 1 13-year-old who has started to struggle more and more academically? We are both in tears daily when I'm trying to help him. K-Blaze. Oh my goodness. Does he have an IEP? What supports does he have at school? My recommendation is learn your rights at school. That any of these challenges that are coming from as a result of a disability, the school has an obligation to provide support so that your child can receive the same level of academic support and progress as other kids. And so learn your rights there and make sure you're utilizing the school resources. Over on the YT platform, people need to not assume that if a child has any challenges, we are entitled to opinions, but not to shame others. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. That was your response about that video. Thank you. All right, you guys. Let's go ahead and continue answering some of these questions, you guys. What a good group, y'all. What a good group. We are struggling with being told no and patience. Everything has to be immediate. Age 7. Oh boy, Mrs. Morrison. I think you just touched on something that a lot of people experience. Let me know in the chat. If you have seen this, put yes in the chat. Have you ever seen your child? Does your child struggle to accept no? Put yes in the chat. If your child struggles to accept no. This is one of the most common things that we see as parents in general, and with autism, it can be even a bigger struggle. Okay, a lot of people. Thank you all for putting that in there. Yes, amazing, wonderful. Okay, look, here is what I'm going to say about this. When we are parenting our child with autism, we always need to look at what skill do they need to learn to change this behavior. What skill do they need to learn? And sometimes the skill is learning to tolerate no. Have you ever thought about that as a skill? Learning to tolerate no is a skill. That is a behavior that someone can learn. And so if your child has a hard time when you say no, well, that is a skill that we can work on. And so how do we do this? And this is specifically for those who understand what no means, but are not happy about that response, okay? My child is in a different place, that when I say no, he doesn't know what that word means. He is still struggling to understand what the word no means. But if your child knows what the word means, but is upset by your response of no, then this is what I want you to try to do. Of course, talk to your care team, have a custom plan, but a good place to start is to start using tolerating no as a behavior that you're looking to improve. So how do you do this? The simple trick, okay? This is what you do. I want you to look for a time when your child accepts the answer no. And maybe that's you contrive a situation where that happens, where you know he won't be that upset about it, okay? And you get it so that at least one time, it doesn't have to be often, but if you can get them to do it one time that they say, okay, mom, or okay, dad, what I want you to do is use that thing as reinforcement. What does that look like? Well, here's an example. So you say, your child says, hey, can I have a cookie? And it's right before dinner. And you say, oh, no, it's just about time to eat. And your kid looks a little upset, but doesn't react poorly, does better than usual, and walks out. I want you to say, hey, Timmy, you are amazing. I can't believe that I just said no. That was really hard for you to hear, and you just walked out as if it wasn't a big deal. You know what? Just this once, I'm going to give you a cookie. And I tell you what, he may ruin his dinner, but what he is going to learn from that experience is way more impactful than ruining dinner one time. And so this is a really good strategy that you can use of when they accept no, on occasion, you give in and you give it to them. And that can reinforce the tolerating no. It is such a cool idea, such a cool way to do this. Oh, Nanny says, I am so happy you said this because we do this and I've seen an improvement. Absolutely. This is a real thing. Like this is a strategy behavior analysts learn to incorporate into different treatments and stuff. It's really powerful. Okay. Over on the YT platform, can autism show through extreme anger and stress? What are some examples? I suspect I may have autism, just not sure which type. Okay, Juliana, if you suspect you have autism, first let me say, when you talk about through anger and stress, those alone are not symptoms of autism. However, what it can be is a symptom of a dysregulated body that is a result of autism, of masking autism. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say, what really is bothering you is that the environment is so chaotic and noisy. What's bothering you is that, your plans changed the day of and you didn't mentally prepare for those changes. Things like that are autism symptoms can then lead to the anger and frustration. If you suspect you may have autism, my first step recommendation is to complete a screener for adults with autism. One of the best ones out there is the RADS, RAADS, and I have a condensed version that is validated and researched called the RADS 14. It's just 14 questions, and it'll tell you if you have a clinically significant score, which would indicate if it's worthy to go and seek an evaluation. All right, you guys. We are already at 51,000 likes, and we're only 41 minutes into this live. Y'all are amazing. Wow, incredible group today here. What are your thoughts on stem cell therapy? So many people swear by it. Okay. There is mixed research on stem cell therapy. There's a lot of therapies within autism that are expensive and that insurance doesn't pay for, and that people swear by and say your doctor doesn't want you to know about this because if they cured autism, then they wouldn't be able to spend all their money on these other things, implying that there's like some ulterior motive to keeping children autistic. Now, what's actually happening here is there is strong theory behind stem cell therapy. In theory, it could work. However, in practice, it is not demonstrated to be effective. And the moment that it is, insurance companies would be all over that. Insurance companies have lobbyists. They have a huge impact on what laws get passed, what ends up being covered, what treatments are available. And insurance's whole goal is to pay as little as possible. And so if there was a secret treatment that really was effective, insurance would be all over that. It would be standard care. There's a reason that to get stem cell therapy, you have to pay $20,000 and go out of the country. And it's because it's not FDA approved, has not been found to be effective. And if the research changes, that's great. If you really want to do it, my recommendation to you is to find a clinical trial in the United States. All right. Let me ask you guys this. Imagine spending $20,000 on a therapy that doesn't actually work. Let me tell you why parents actually do think it does. They're not lying. Those parents aren't trying to make you do something that you shouldn't do. But there's an effect called the expectancy effect that if you are expecting results to happen, if you go and you pay $20,000 to see improvement in your child, then guess what's going to happen every time you see some little change in your child that's positive? You're going to say it's because of the therapy that costs $20,000 that you're seeing that progress. That is how our brain works. We want to see that our actions that we are taking are having a positive impact. And so absolutely, don't go and do stem cell therapy. Let me ask you guys this. If you had $20,000 that you could spend on your child right now to make them more comfortable and supported, what would you do? Let me know in the chat. What would you do if you had $20,000 to spend on your child to make them be more comfortable and supported? Let me tell you what I would do. I would go and, first of all, I would go and turn my garage into a bit more of like a climbing area with like pads on the ground and like a sensory room, right? That would be amazing. That'd be so cool. Lexi, buy a house so he would have more room. Guys, I tell you what, if you buy a house that has more space or you get into a bigger home to allow your child to have a little bit more room, that's going to have a bigger impact on your child than going and doing stem cell therapy. Now, I can't say that for sure, right? Because the results have been mixed. But in my opinion, that's how I look at it for my own children, that it is not worth that cost. Okay. Let's keep answering some questions. You guys go ahead and put it in there in the chat. My son is addicted to screens. We try so hard. Any advice? Okay, I do have advice. She's from the streets. Let me give you some advice. First thing I'm going to say about screens is screens did not cause your child to be autistic. I don't know if you needed to hear that, but if you're in here and you suspect that your parenting style, that the amount of screen time that you allowed for your child had something to do with them being diagnosed with autism, I want you to know it didn't. Autism is not caused by screens. A lot of people bring up virtual autism, which is not a real thing. It's not a real diagnosis. But too much screen time, the real measured effect that we have, that we know about, is that screen time can cause your child to miss out on acquiring some social skills. And so a lot of kids that have too much screen time, it does show up as lack of, having some of these basic social skills. But that is not what autism is. Autism isn't simply a lack of social skills. It's so much bigger than that. There's so much more to it. Autism isn't something you learned or did. But what do we do if our children are overly attached to their screens? Let me tell you my approach. If you try to limit something by putting a time limit or restricting how much someone can do you know what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to do everything they can to have access to it. And so my approach with my children, and I do this with all my kids, is we don't have a specified time limit of how much time they can be on the screens. However, we fill the day with activities and things to do that are not screen related, so that they don't have too much screen time. We don't have any limit, but my son with autism, he's probably on a screen maybe 1 to 2 hours a day that he's watching TV. That's it. We don't have any restrictions, nothing like that. But we have a structure in the morning of all the things that we need to do to get out the door, so he's not just sitting there on a screen. He goes out and he goes to school. He does ABA therapy. He comes home. Sometimes he'll have a nap. We do dinner. And then in the evenings, he may have an hour or two, and as he should. It's okay. All right. Yep. Fill the time. That's right, Jen Evans. Yeah, Ben said, my parents just kicked us out of the house and said, play. Yeah, you can do that. If your kid, not if your kid's going to elope and run away, but I'm putting in right now my kids don't know about this, you guys. Don't spill the beans to my kids. They're at school right now, so I can say this. But we are having an in-ground trampoline put in. And we have a fenced-in backyard. And we're going to, kids, if you have activities for kids to be doing, go outside, go jump on the trampoline. It's going to be really cool. We went through 3 trampolines, Megan. Oh my gosh. All right. Amber says, is it wrong to let them have downtime after school, that they do as they wish? It's something we do. Amber, absolutely. You guys, by default, it's not bad to let your kids have downtime. You don't have to fill every minute of their day. Look, you're already doing a lot as an autism parent, and trying to fill every minute of their day is not enough. Screens are okay, but let's use them, in moderation. But also, no judgments. Let's not judge other parents. I remember I told a family member one time, I said, hey, yeah, my son was just diagnosed with autism. And his next thing that he asked me, the very next thing, he said, how much screen time does he get? And I saw in his head the wheels turning. And I know what he was thinking. And I think he thought he was being discreet, but I know that what he was thinking was, I see them have a lot of screen time at their house. They don't even have limits of screen time. Asking to kind of put blame on, hey, I think you caused this. Eloise, yeah, that is amazing. 55,000 likes. That's incredible. Oh, Aaron, that's a cool idea. You can earn as much screen time as you want with physical activity, one-on-one. That can be a good option. It can. My worry is that anytime you use screen time as a reward, or you try to limit and restrict screen time, it can make that screen time more powerful as a reinforcer, meaning them being even more attached to it. Something I do, it's kind of similar to that, but with my older kids who are not diagnosed with autism, is they have a list of tasks to do every single morning before they're allowed to access their screens. And so, again, we don't restrict screen time, but they do have to do their chore for the day. Usually it's like doing unloading the dishwasher. They have to practice the piano. They have to read for 15 minutes. And they have to eat breakfast. Once they do all of those things, they can have their screen. And so they're all just in the habit that first thing they wake up, they go get their stuff done, then they can have their screens. Okay. What is Neuralink? What are they trying to advertise to people here? Neuralink, what are you talking about? Just want to be careful that we don't have people in here trying to do some pseudoscience or something like this. What are you promoting, Neuralink? You're telling people to message you? All right. Let's see here. What other questions do we have, you guys? We use screen time as a motivator for ABA and homework. Great, Katrina, that's great. A therapy center? What kind of therapy are you doing? Oh, occupational. Great. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. Thought you were like a brain mapping place. You do OT and behavior. That's great. I love OT. I love behavior. Where are you guys at? You guys have a wait list? Oh, thank you for the hat mustache. I appreciate that, Wagner. Okay, as an RBT, how can we support clients who display attachment to tablet with no interest for other things? Oh boy, you're gonna need to talk to your BCBA about that. But there are strategies. It's especially hard when their tablet is used for an AAC device and for entertainment. That creates kind of the biggest struggle, because I will never recommend, you can never take away someone's AAC. That's like duct taping their mouth. If their iPad is their voice, then they have unlimited access with their volume turned up. I don't care if you're in the middle of a church service, of a funeral, whatever it is, we're not shutting off someone's voice. All right. Our school refuses to do an IEP or 504 for my ASD child, and it's really hard on him. What do I do? Why are they Did they do the test, Amber? That's my question. They have to, if you're requesting testing, they have to do the assessment to determine if they need supports. Did they do an assessment with your child? I hate hearing when people need an IEP or a 504 and the school is refusing. I mean, under IDEA, they can't refuse if your child needs it. Okay, my 31-year-old just was diagnosed with autism. How can I help her? Janice, thank you. Thank you for being a good support. A good parent. If your 31-year-old was just diagnosed, I don't know what her support needs are. Is she living on her own? There's so much. But the biggest thing that you need to know is, first of all, I want you as a mother to have some relief that autism as it exists today didn't exist as a diagnosis when she was a toddler. And so if you're concerned or worried at all that you missed it, I want you to feel the relief that it wasn't around. The screeners weren't around back then. The awareness wasn't around. So don't feel bad. The second thing is it depends on their support needs. The number one resource for someone, if they're like an independent adult diagnosed with autism, is finding a therapist that specializes in autism. All right, everybody, we are just barely about halfway done here. I actually may be ending a little bit earlier, around noon, so we do have time. Let's go ahead and continue to have a conversation. Is anyone here in Utah? Put Utah in the chat if you're from Utah. That's where I'm at. I'm in Utah. I'm just curious if I got any other Utahns. Eloise, yeah, you can come up. I heard you saying that you were having a hard time. Anyone else coming in Utah or living in Utah? Hey, we got some people. Therese, Amelia, Casey. Hey, if you're in Utah and you are looking for a diagnosis, I have a connection to someone that can get people in within a month. So message me directly if you want to. And then if you need ABA therapy, we do have clinics throughout Utah. Let me know. I can connect you. We got some good people. Just let me know. All right. Eloise, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I mean, I've been going through a lot lately. I was just wondering if you have any suggestions for dealing with autism as a young adult, because I am 19 and I graduated in 2024, but now I'm kind of like lost as what to do because there's not many options, I feel like, and I have a hard time like keeping a job.
Yeah.
So I'm like really not sure what to do because it's hard. Everybody else my age is either in college or working towards a career. But when I do have a job, there's nobody there for support.
Tell me about the jobs you've had. What have the jobs been like the past couple
Um,
jobs you've had?
I've worked as a preschool teacher,
Oh, wow.
like associate, um, which I absolutely loved, but they didn't have enough support for me there.
Yeah.
And dealing with preschool children is a lot.
Oh, yeah. That can be very overwhelming. When were you diagnosed with autism?
I was diagnosed when I was 18, so
Oh, wow. Just a year ago.
over a year ago.
Okay.
I kind of already had a feeling like they did a school assessment when I was like 15, but never had it like officially diagnosed until I was 18.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want you to know something. First of all, you have a lot of rights with having autism. And smaller companies, like local daycares and stuff, aren't going to understand the laws and the requirements as well as potentially some bigger ones. Now, have you thought about what kind of accommodations at work would make it a little bit easier for you?
Um, I'm not sure. I just feel like sometimes I'll get like really overwhelmed and need a place to just like have some quiet because it's really loud.
Yeah.
So having a place to just like sit for 5 minutes and just breathe is like a lot. Like,
Yeah. Other than work changes, what are some of the other challenges you're experiencing right now?
I deal with a lot of depression and anxiety,
Oh
and I
yeah.
have a really hard time leaving my house.
Yeah.
So I would like to get out more and do more things. I feel like I'm really stuck in my house,
Are you working?
but
Are you on
when
your
I
own?
leave, it's hard.
Or are you with your family?
I live with my dad.
Okay. Yeah. Look, you're going through a hard season of your life. It sounds like. It sounds like things are being tough for you. Your mental health isn't where it should be, and um, you're trying to be successful at a job. I want you to know that you are going to find there's going to be a season of your life where you have found a job that accommodates your needs and is supporting your mental health. Do you have a therapist that understands autism?
Yeah.
Okay, good, 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 good. That's the number one that I always make sure people have a therapist that understands autism. The second is you have rights because you have autism. Not to make it so you don't have to do as much as other people, but so that you have the supports to be able to do the same as others to fulfill your job responsibilities. So, what does this mean? First of all, as you're interviewing for a job, I want to say this very clearly to you, Eloise. Do not tell them that you have autism when you're interviewing for a job. And I know it feels like you're being deceptive or you're lying, but just know if you're interviewing, they don't want to know because it is illegal for them to discriminate based on you being diagnosed with autism. However, they oftentimes do, whether they're trying to or not. You are not being unethical or wrong by not bringing up autism. Do not bring up autism. Do not bring up your other mental health. You just go in and talk about being able to complete the job. Okay. However, the next thing is really important. Once you're hired on, I want you to ask to talk to HR. You don't even need to bring it up to your manager. You say, "Hey, I want to talk to human resources." And what they're going to do is they're going to have they're going to start what's called the interactive process with you. And what that is you'll sit down one-on-one with the HR representative, and you're going to say, "Hey, I am diagnosed with autism, and it's really important to me that I do well at this job. I want to succeed, and I want to be a good employee for you." And you start with that so that they know you're not just trying to take advantage of them. Because I think it's true. Do you want to do a good job at your job?
Of course. Yeah.
Absolutely, you do. You do. You're not trying to take advantage, but you may need some support to be able to be successful. And so you go and you have that conversation. You say, "I have autism. These are some of the struggles that I have. Can we work through accommodations that may support me?" And then they can help you work through some of that. Now, some ideas that I have seen people do is if they're diagnosed with autism, sometimes every hour they may get 5 minutes or 10 minutes to go in the other room, put on their headphones, and just kind of reset a little bit and regulate their nervous system before jumping back in. That can be a very reasonable accommodation. Now, keep in mind, by law, the company has to provide accommodations that are reasonable. Not unreasonable, but usually reasonable sides with you as the employee. So just keep that in mind. Does that sound doable? Is that all making sense? You have questions about
Yeah.
that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. Eloise, I think before we move on to the next person, Eloise, I want everyone in the chat to give a bunch of hearts for Eloise. Give her that support. Know that you have a village here, Eloise.
Thank you.
And put hearts in the chat there. Let's show some love to Eloise. We're here for you. Please stick around. Be here. Be part of this village. We got you, okay? You're safe
Thank
here.
you.
All right. You have a good rest of your day, okay?
You too.
All right. Bye. Guys, this support goes a long ways. You have no idea how difficult it is for people diagnosed with autism, especially those if they're diagnosed with autism and ADHD. Do you or your child, put it in the chat, do you or your child also have ADHD? Put ADHD in the chat. Do you have a comorbid diagnosis in your household of autism and ADHD? Put ADHD in the chat. Or yeah, ADHD. You can put ADHD in the chat. That works too. Guys, I don't know if you guys realize how cruel it is to have both autism and ADHD. And I don't. I'm not diagnosed with autism, you guys. If you're just coming in here, you should know my background a little bit. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I have 2 children diagnosed with autism. And I'm a professional working in this field, running a company that supports people with autism. And let me tell you a little bit about autism and ADHD. About 50% of autistic people also have ADHD. Did you know that? 50% of people with autism also have ADHD. Now, why is it so hard to have both? Well, they are conflicting diagnoses. If you have autism and ADHD, it's like you're trying to drive to the store, but you are pushing on the gas and pushing on the brake at the exact same time. You don't go anywhere, and you can cause some car problems. And so here's what's happening. Autism, okay? Autism, if you have a child with autism, you know they crave routine, sameness, safety, calmness. There's sensory overload that they need to manage of things being in a calm state. But ADHD, that is craving change and, constantly having, it's the opposite of routine, constantly having a new environment and new things going on. And so to regulate their nervous system, they need to meet both the autism needs and the ADHD needs that conflict with each other. So no matter what they do, their body is dysregulated. Oh, guys, this is why, please do not have shame. If you ADHD, there is very clear support through medication that you should be talking to pediatricians about. Usually they don't do that until the age of 6 or so, but if your child has ADHD, there's a way to calm their nervous system through medications so that you can work on the skill development and regulating autism without ADHD getting in the way. All right, you guys, let's bring some more people up. She's from the streets. I'll bring you up for sure. Let's also see if I think I may have some other helpers up here. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I've enjoyed watching your stream so much. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Oh, of course. Where are you from?
I am from North Central Florida. I'm outside of Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And I had wrote something in the chat, a bunch of stuff, but my son, he has high functioning autism and ADHD. His dad has autism and I have ADHD. So I always say it's like the double whammy. And I kind of make a joke like he is impulsive and can't read a room, poor thing. The poor thing, and
impulsive and can't read a room. That is another really good way of putting it. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's just, and I don't say that in front of him, but it's just kind of like a little funny thing I'll say sometimes if I'm like around family that's giving me judgmental looks or something to try to, just make it a little more lighthearted. But the thing that he tries so hard, and we've had wonderful teachers, and then we've had teachers who make him feel like the bad kid. We've been through 3 different schools. He has some trauma from being abused in daycare. When we found out,
How old is he?
He's 10 now.
Oh my gosh.
And he is incredible. He's extremely intelligent, and he has developed a lot of anxiety around trying to keep people from getting mad at him because he's had the teachers who have bullied him. He's had the teachers that have made him elope from the classroom and run to the parking lot and hide in the parking lot. And it's gotten so much better because I found a way to stay home. It took me a year to figure it out, but I'm home now, and the meltdowns before school, the throwing up before school has stopped for the most part, so that's good. But he'll lay there at night and he'll start crying and say, I tried so hard and I just can't get it right. And I just, I don't know.
The pain with ADHD and autism, they know what they need to do and they know what the right thing is, but they can't get themselves to do it.
Yes. Yep.
Oh
And
my
we're trying
gosh.
medication, but I think that's my biggest question is,
Yeah.
should I take the medication route to help him? We've tried one so far, and he told us it made him feel not like himself.
Hmm.
So I stopped, but he does self-harm at times
Yeah.
when he gets really mad at himself for messing up. That's gotten better, but that's like the extreme that I don't think people see with kids that have high functioning autism and ADHD. The teachers don't see that at
No.
home, that when we're talking about it at night and he's telling me about an incident with the teacher, he'll just start escalating and it'll start him just punching himself in the face.
Hmm.
And I really, yeah,
Wow. Look, you're right. The teachers don't see that. The teachers don't see that part of it, and it breaks my heart. I've seen this so many times, and the kids know they know what they're doing wrong, and they want to do better, and they just can't. And the medication helps them be able to do that a little more. And look, I'm so proud that you tried the medication and you listened to him and how he's feeling, and make sure you're consulting with the doctor on that too, because maybe there's the first, like, I've been on medications before where the first couple weeks it feels really weird, but then it takes a
mhm,
while to stabilize. And so
okay,
it might be kind of helping him through, like, yeah, I know you don't feel like yourself right now, but it might take, let's see how it feels in 2 weeks, kind of a thing.
right,
But there's other options too. I mean, for ADHD specifically, I mean, medications is like very well researched, and there are some really good ones out there. And like I as a parent, I don't want you to feel a single ounce of guilt for considering the medication. There is no
okay,
guilt, especially when you're dealing with ADHD and autism. Again, these are completely opposing diagnoses that are fighting
mhm,
together against him. And if we
mhm.
if we can do something to ease that from him on the medication side, like, absolutely, absolutely.
Right. I also just wanted to, if you don't mind me making a suggestion for parents that might be, I just wanted to share something that helped me the
Of
most.
course, of course.
The one thing that has helped me the most is we went to parent child interactive therapy,
Mm,
and it's PCIT. And at first it was hard for mom because it really seemed to focus more on what I was doing, right? And like that was kind of, I thought this was about him, you know?
yeah.
and and it wasn't. It was about, and this was about 5 years ago, so it was a long time ago. He was little. But what I learned from that was that I needed to get into trauma therapy, that I was
Wow.
putting a lot of expectations on him, and I was not like misdirecting, but I'm trying to think of the word, but I was, being a mom triggered a lot of stuff for me that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And I was doing things that I didn't realize were escalating him. The way I was talking to him, the words I was using. I learned that just by changing the way that I frame wording
Yeah.
changes everything. Like I learned that if I say like, if you like, it's very specific. You have to say, if you want ice cream, then you must finish your dinner, or that we don't make him finish his dinner,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then you must have one more bite of green beans. If you want to watch your screens, then you must shower first.
Yeah. The if
It
then
changed
statements.
everything. And that's just one example of like changing your wording. Um,
They call
and
that
I
the
just,
Premack principle. It's a behavioral
yes. And me
strategy
going
there.
to trauma therapy taught me how to regulate, so that if I'm not regulated, they read energies. Kids
Yeah.
read energies. And if I'm not regulated, he's never going to get regulated, but I didn't even know how to regulate. I thought I knew, and I didn't. So,
Yes.
yeah, I just really wanted to share
The
that.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's a legit therapy, and it's very beneficial. It uses it's kind of it's similar to ABA therapy, but it's a lot more parent focused, where on the parent and the child interacting together, and it's It's a powerful thing. Usually, I mean, for ADHD and some other behavioral concerns, when they don't have an autism diagnosis, it's commonly
Mhm.
used and recommended. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. Thank you for coming up and being
Thank you so
vulnerable and open
much.
to us.
Yes. Thank you for what you're doing. Really, you're helping a lot of people by being on here. Thank you so much.
Oh, I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Lexi, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I am pretty good. Um,
That's good.
yeah, I have a few more minutes on here. A few more minutes. Let's see if we can answer some questions. Let's see.
Awesome.
Oh, Carol Ann, help me please. I'm fostering 2-year-old triplets. Whoa, all 3 are level 3 autistic. Crying, screaming, throwing. Whoa. Hey, if you want to come up, Carol, I just sent you an invite. You don't have to, Carol. I can also just talk to you, but that's a big deal. Triplets? Triplets. Carol, hello. Where are you from?
Georgia.
You're from Georgia, and you're fostering triplets right now, autistic triplets?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. They're 2 years old. How long have you had them?
Next month will be a year.
Holy cow. My goodness,
Yes.
they've been there a while. How long do you think
Yes,
they'll
sir.
they'll be there? Is it looking more long term?
Really not sure. Still going through the courts, and mom's still doing a parental plan.
Yeah.
So really not sure how long
So
it'll
working
be.
on reunification then?
Yes.
Good. Good. Okay, what supports do these triplets have so far?
They were in physical and occupational therapy, but they've been released from that.
Why were
They
they
were
released
taking
from it?
speech therapy.
Were they not needing the physical, I guess? They kind of caught up on the physical aspect?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
They've they were released from the speech therapy. I'm really not sure why. They they can actually say words like copying,
Yeah.
but they can't talk to me. They won't have a conversation, or they won't even say, I want juice, I want food, or I want a
Do
toy.
they repeat words? When you say a word, do they copy the word you say?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're gonna get there then. They will get there. But
Hallelujah. Praise Jesus.
yeah, yeah. Is it like look the prerequisite of echoing when they're only age 2? They're gonna progress a long way. They will. Look, let me ask you this: have they done any ABA therapy yet?
We are signed up for it, but the waiting list is incredibly long, and they're saying
Oh
that it's probably
no.
going to be a month or two before they can even get evaluated.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me tell you, that's gonna be. Are you looking at doing in clinic or in home?
I would rather in home, but it's more than likely going to be in clinic.
Look, let me tell you right now, having triplets all in the same home where you are wanting as much support as you can. I mean, is that true? Would you want as much support as you can from an
Oh,
ABA
yes,
company? Look,
definitely.
what you need to do is you need to call around to every single ABA company around, and you need to say, "Hey, look, here's my situation. I got triplets. I need to get ABA therapy for all 3 of them in my home immediately. Can you make that happen? I'm going with the first company that is qualified and can do that for us." And let me tell you, if you phrase it that way and you tell them off the bat what you're looking for, I mean, that is, it's almost, if you got 3 kids, that's almost like a mini clinic without them having to rent out a space. Like
Yes.
they would be all over that and would love to support you. And so please call around and get some other options. But honestly, a month isn't that bad. A month wait is not terrible. What are some of their biggest struggles right now?
Um, well, trying to express their feelings. Is it emotional dysregulation? Is that what it's called?
Uh huh.
They have that. One of them is an eloper.
Oh boy, are they identical
So
triplets?
2 are identical. One is fraternal,
Holy
and they're
cow!
all boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Bless your heart.
like I was saying, the crying, screaming, and throwing. I try to, be calm with them and the only way I can calm them down is let them sit in my lap for however long it takes. And then they'll get up and go play or do whatever. But, yeah, just getting our attention. It doesn't matter if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're mad. I mean, everything is just screaming and crying.
Even when they're happy, they're screaming.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You have your hands full.
A little bit.
You have your hands full. Kids with autism are not quiet. Even if people call them nonverbal, which I don't. These your triplets here are learning, but I mean they can be loud.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, some of those happy yelling and screaming, it can be stimming and regulating for them. But let me tell you, it can also be. I mean, you think triplets, they become best friends and they're together. But if they're all being loud together, are they triggering each other? Do you think? Are they?
The two identical, I don't think as much, but the one that's fraternal, I think they trigger him.
Yeah.
But he is completely different. I call him the little genius because he's only 2, but he can count to 30. He can say and recognize all of his alphabet. He can even count to 10 in Spanish, and he can count from 10 backwards.
Wow. He is okay.
But the other 2, they can't.
It sounds like. Oh, thank you, Wagner. That means a lot. It sounds like he's hyperlexic. Then I mean that's a real thing. It's the hyperlexia is really cool. That we see sometimes a fixation in letters and numbers and learning earlier than others. Look, you have your hands full. You're doing amazing. You're doing a lot. I want to tell you, with ABA in your situation, what you need is as much support as you can get with them. And when they're 2 years old, their chance, let me tell you, their chance of becoming fully verbal and conversational is extremely high right now if they get this service as soon as they can. I am shocked that they stopped speech therapy.
I don't know why. Like I said, I don't understand why they did. I don't know if it was something through the insurance or getting another referral or approval, but they stopped it.
Yeah.
I thought it was because they were like repeating words.
Yeah.
But they're just not having any kind of conversation. I mean, I try to talk to them when they come to me screaming and crying, well, did he take your toy? Do you want more juice? And we've learned sign language. They can use a little bit of that.
Oh, are they signing a little bit?
A little bit, yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So, and the only reason you're not hearing them now is because they're down for nap. This is
Oh,
my
wonderful.
only quiet
This is the nap time. That's amazing. Look,
Yes,
I
that's
want
why
to
I'm
ease
able to
your
listen to you.
I want to ease your thoughts as well here, that as communication increases, those behaviors decrease.
Okay.
Now, if you had one kid, my advice would be different than if you have 3 kids. But the big thing here is what we want to do is promote as much communication as possible. And you're going to see a drastic improvement. The moment communication starts going up, problem behaviors go down. And
Okay.
and so really what you're going to want to focus on right now is as much communication as possible. And you're going to want to look for, we call it communicative intent, when they are trying to say something. Or let me ask you this. How do you know what one of them wants? Will they lead your hand to something? Do they bring
No,
something to you? How do you
no,
know what it is that they need?
I guess. And I've learned their little quirks and attitudes. And I mean, I kind of know. I've tried to keep them on a strict schedule. If it goes awry any little bit, they are off the chain.
Wow.
So I know about when they want juice, when they want snack, when they use the bathroom. And that's going to be another nightmare, is trying to potty train.
Yeah, but don't rush that. Don't rush it. They're two. You got time. But look, I want you looking for opportunities when you know what they want and they are letting you know what they want. And this can look different for every person, but it could be them reaching for something. It could be them, whatever it is that you know in this moment, they really want the thing that you are about to give them. And in those moments, this is probably the biggest time and opportunity to teach them to communicate. And so when that's happening, what I want you to do is very simple. I want you to say a single word, and all it is the word of the thing that they are wanting. I don't want you to say, what's this, or what do you want? If what they're reaching for is crackers, I don't want you to say, like, tell me that you want crackers. All I want you to say is, you hold it up to your face by your eyes, and so they look up at you, and they start kind of looking towards your eyes, and you just say, crackers. And you pause just for a minute, and if they echo and they say crackers, oh my goodness, that is a big deal. And you give them those crackers, you give them tickles, you tell them how amazing they are. Now, if they don't echo it, you just say it one more time, you say crackers, and you just give it to them. You don't make them say it, you don't wait forever, but what you're doing is encouraging as much communication as possible. And you're going to see, I mean, right now, hopefully this gives a little bit of empathy that their crying and their screaming is the only way of saying that they have a need that is not met. And the moment it expands to other things that they can actually say words, you're going to see a huge decrease in these problem behaviors.
Okay.
But here's what I want most of all is I want you to know that you got support here, that you got love here. Guys, this woman's incredible. Put hearts in the chat for Carol, please. Carol is a saint. Carol is amazing and has triplets that she is taking care of right now. Put hearts in the chat, please, for Carol. You got a village here, that. Carol. Please come back. Keep us posted. And again, if you can't wait that month for ABA, you call around and you see if there's places that can get you in right away.
Yes, I definitely will.
Okay. All right, Carol. You have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Of course. All right. Bye. Lexi, I didn't give you a chance to say anything. Do you have any other thoughts for Carol?
That's okay. No, you basically touched on all the thoughts that I had. Definitely call around, see if there's somebody else who can get you in quicker, because you do have 3 who are on the spectrum as opposed to just 1. I mean, I think that it's a really good idea to get like in-home therapy if you can, but also don't think that therapy in clinic is not good as well, because in clinic therapy will get you more time for yourself. As a
It's true.
parent of a child with autism, I know it's super hard to get cleaning done, cooking done, all of the things that we need to get done for our children. And even in clinic might free up a little bit more space for her to be able to get those things done and not feel so overwhelmed. So
It's a good point.
definitely don't take that off the table.
It's a good point. ABA definitely is not daycare, but it is like it's okay for us to look at the added benefit that comes from them being there. Now, some of that still comes if they're in home and like they will have a one-on-one person with them, and if they all have that, then that gives time for you to do the other things. But you can't leave the house, you can't go and do other things. You got to be around. So, all right, you guys, let me go ahead and answer questions that are coming in the chat. I do like to mix things up here. Let's see if there's anything over on the YT platform. My son gets tested for autism today. What should I ask or bring up? Oh my goodness, 1, 2, 3. I think you sent this a while ago, and my YT chat was hidden from me for just a moment. Let me tell you that it's an exciting day for you. Let me tell you what to expect. You're going to go in, and they're probably going to want to do a parent interview with you. It'll probably take about 30 minutes to an hour where they get some background information. They may do some other surveys if they haven't sent it to you already and had you do it before. And then they're going to do about an hour observation. They're going to do what's called the ADOS with your child. And they're going to provide those services. The biggest thing I want to tell you is the moment that you get an autism diagnosis, expect an emotional reaction and plan for that. It's not always, but there's a good chance that it'll be overwhelming to you to see it written down on paper or hearing from a professional talking about your child. I also want to urge you to keep in mind that the level that they will attribute to your child means very little. It is current. All it is up to your current psychologist's opinion of as of today, where they feel like, according to their clinical judgment, where they feel like your child is going to be. All right. They will guide all of it, 1, 2, 3. So don't overthink it. They're going to ask you everything, and keep us posted how it goes. The other thing I'm going to say is that when we go in for an evaluation from a psychologist, we are not going to get an autism diagnosis. We are going to get clarity. And if they don't give you an autism diagnosis, that's okay. I've seen people be like frustrated or mad that it wasn't autism, and they think that they know better than the psychologist does. I want to reassure you, like, sometimes psychologists make a bad diagnosis, but typically it's when people go in for an autism diagnosis instead of going in for clarity that there's frustration that happens. Okay, is the assessment process low-key ableist since it requires you to talk? They won't diagnose me. Oh, that dog girly. That's a good question. You're wondering, they won't diagnose you with autism because you're communicating with them and they say since you can talk, you don't have autism? Did you go to a psychologist? Who did you go to? A lot of times your primary care isn't going to give you a diagnosis. You have to go to a full evaluation. Okay, for everybody who is just tuning in or who is new here, let me give you a little bit of an update of what we do here. So this is an Autism Live where we can talk any question, no judgment about autism. I'm an autism dad. I have 2 children diagnosed with autism. They're both fairly young. I got into the world of autism a long time ago, though. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I have a master's degree in autism studies, and I run a company that serves people with autism. So if you're new here, go ahead and check right there. If it says follow, that means you're not following me yet. You can tap that button, and it makes it so you can see next time I go live. I go live every single day to just have real conversations with parents and with people who may be autistic. Do autistic children talk? Sometimes. There are a good number of autistic people that maybe they start out nonverbal, that they're slower to acquire language, but they do end up being fully conversational. But there are some profoundly impacted children with autism, adults with autism, that never learn to vocally communicate, and that they may use a device like an AAC device or a picture exchange system. Michaela, how can I advocate for my nephew without burning bridges with my sister-in-law? Oh, Michaela, what a good question. Are they denying the are they refusing to do a diagnosis? What's going on with your sister-in-law? Look, I've seen it all the time where parents refuse to accept that their child might be autistic. And if that is anybody in here, I want to talk to you, but also if you know someone that needs to hear this, you can take my words from me. But if you are worried that your child is autistic, but you are scared to put a label on them, this is for you. This happens all the time. And I understand its good intentions. I hear people say, like, my kid is so young, I don't want to put a label on them when they may just catch up. I don't want this to ruin their life. I don't want this to impact their day-to-day life. And so like that I feel for you. I understand. But I want you to know that you are more worried about your perception of your child than your child when you are thinking that. Why? Because what's going to happen is if your child has an autism diagnosis, it opens the door for them to have more support. It opens the door to them not just getting a label, but having support and accommodations throughout their life. If you do not diagnose them with autism, the autism doesn't go away. It's like when you don't have enough money in your bank account. I've done this. You don't have enough money in your bank account and you just ignore it and don't check it. Does that make it so more money ends up being in there? No, there's still no money in your bank account, whether you check it or not. You avoiding it doesn't get rid of the autism. Your child, if they have autism, they're autistic for their whole life. And when they're an adult, they're going to be upset with you as the parent that you didn't set them up with the supports they needed to be as successful as possible throughout their life. If they qualify for an autism diagnosis, it's not something that goes away naturally. It's not something that will ever go away, not something to be cured. It doesn't need to be cured. It is beautiful, but it does need support. And by not giving them a diagnosis, you pull that support away. All right, you guys.
Michaela said that
Yeah.
Bang's head when is upset, and then she also said he is obsessed with spinning car tires. That's what I could see in the chat that you might
But
have
he's not
missed.
diagnosed. She's just seeing signs.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And if you're noticing signs in someone else, that's a very personal thing. And a lot of people have different opinions on it. For me, I think I'd have to know the person pretty well and know how they'd react. Because just also have the confidence that if they're 18 months or 24 months, the pediatrician will do a screener for them. If they go to the pediatrician, they will have an autism screener done. And so if they're younger than that, just know that the system should catch it by then if you want to avoid having that conflict. But I've talked to people that are really grateful that they were upset for a minute when someone brought it up, but grateful that someone talked to them about their child potentially having autism. I just think it's one of those things you got to be careful about. And if you like really are close with them, it's your brother or your sister, and you have a good way of being able to bring it up in a loving way, of like, hey, look, I was just learning about autism and I noticed this. What are your thoughts? Have you ever had this thought about your child? And more of like a question conversation with them. It can feel a lot less antagonizing. Lexi, what do you think about it? Any other thoughts on that?
No, I agree. Bringing up autism to somebody, especially to a parent who doesn't know a lot about it, can ruin that relationship, especially if they're not ready to see the signs that you're seeing, or if they're unaware of what autism really is. The only other thing that I would suggest would be, if you do end up having that conversation with them, definitely direct them to this live. Next time that we're live, maybe send them this live.
Yeah.
Because even if their child doesn't have autism, they can learn about it.
Yeah.
And maybe if they're on the line or on the fence, or, just really don't know where to go, like, they can learn a lot from us here.
Yeah.
They can ask questions. Maybe they are seeing something, but they're scared
Yes.
to get that diagnosis, or maybe they're afraid of what autism means. Sometimes people say, oh, autism, and then they show a level 3 child who has no control over their body, and it scares people. It really does, because you don't understand that the spectrum is so large. It can be something like head banging, like she said, that the child does.
Yeah.
But there are steps that can be followed to help them, overcome those overstimulations or those sensory needs. So maybe I always like to suggest to people, like, direct people who you may have to have that difficult conversation with here, because Kylan is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a mod in your live or anything like that, but it really can help them understand that autism is not a bad thing. It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
We need to clarify that to everybody in this world, that autistic children are just children. They just learn differently. So if we adapt to the way that they learn, they will be more successful, and that might help that parent. So if you're still in the chat list or listening to us, definitely, send them this live. They might have a couple of minutes to kind of listen in, and they might gain some information and then maybe be like, hey, how can I go about making sure that my child has the needs that they need? Because apparently I'm not able to fulfill those as a typical parent. So it can be very beneficial.
Love that, Lexi. I'm also seeing on here, Michaela did say she doesn't think he has any issues. 2.5 years old, doesn't say a single word, tiptoe walks. Michaela, at age 2.5, there is so much time for a child to catch up developmentally. However, early intervention is critical to be able to make that happen. So you are spot on for being a loving family member, concerned about this. But also, like, I don't know the dynamic between you guys. Like, I know if that was my sister, I know 100% I could have a meaningful conversation with love that she would walk away feeling supported. And that would be my goal for you is make sure if you have that conversation that she walks away feeling like you love and support them and are there for them. All right, you guys, I do need to hop off here. If you are just barely new here and not following yet, be sure you hit that follow button so that you guys can see when we go live. We also have a Discord chat and a Facebook group that you guys can join that gives you guys a chance to talk with each other. And I'm on there sometimes, and we can support each other, care about each other, and build that village beyond just these live streams. So I appreciate, oh my gosh, Wagner, you do too much for me. Thank you so much, Wagner. And then, and the YT, hop on over to the YouTube platform. I'm just getting a following over there. And so I do tend to respond more over on the YouTube platform. You can also rewatch previous lives that we've done over there. So, all right, you guys. The Discord chat is linked in the bio, Autistic. And if it doesn't let you in, sometimes you have to copy the link and paste it into your browser on your phone.
And if it still doesn't let you in, send me a message. I've gotten a lot of people in.
Yeah. Thank you for the help there, Lexi. And all right. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a good day, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.